I
it's a great intro.
That's
I'm like,
perfect.
how do I intro the pod?
Hello and welcome back to the Rollers and the Rockers podcast. My name is Hayley Miller and with me every week, Emma Drisco, even though she doesn't want to be introduced, but there you go. When would you start talking if I didn't introduce you?
Look, this is true, H. I like that you've said my name, and the way you said it was lovely, so appreciate that. I feel like it's been a while since we've been here.
It's been a while. Busy gals. Can't get it sorted.
We've been away. Obviously, we'll touch on that later, but there's just been lots happening and a short turnaround. This condensed fixture's absolutely killing us. So
there's not enough days in the week to fit a podcast in, let alone enough games of footy. So.
Well, especially how long we talk for.
Yeah.
They've got to cut it short.
Yeah. The last one we really did have to skim through at the end. So hopefully we don't do that this time.
We did have to pause because there was a mishap of swearing where H actually stuffed up about 3 times.
It was an accidental swear. I wish we could put that in the podcast because it was funny. All right, let's introduce our guest. So she's, I like this intro because I didn't write it, but I'm just going to say you wrote it yourself. One of the most beloved athletes in Australian sport. She's been a huge signing for Fremantle, both on and off the field. She's a former Collingwood Magpie and, more importantly, a former Australian Diamond netballer and, more importantly, the producer of our podcast,
Yes.
Ash Braz. It's you.
I definitely wrote that myself.
Yeah.
I would
Seems
have taught
like
myself
something
up
you
a
do.
bit more. Best wife, best mother.
That's not true, though.
People don't know that.
No, I'm kidding. I love one of the most beloved athletes in Australian sport. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Thank you, Brett.
No, I'm so glad you're finally on, though. You haven't really said much behind your producer mic over the last few weeks, so glad to have you actually talking.
Yeah, I don't like being in this seat. I think, being the producer and then you hear your own voice, it's not great. I learned the first few lessons, the first few pods, and then I was like, I can't talk. This is embarrassing.
It's not.
That's why I choose not to. I used to listen back to the podcast. I don't know how. Now, I'll listen for 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, no, the intro. No, can't even do it.
Oh, I absolutely never do.
I just
it's
like
way
the
better live.
Yeah, I just like the little clips that they put on Instagram, the funny parts.
Oh, no, the
Those
snippets are good. You
Actually,
guys do a great job with that.
Mainly the
Thank you.
bloopers. Can you just do a package of bloopers for me?
Remember, actually, Braz wasn't here at the best and fairest not last year, the year before.
Yeah.
It was the best thing they've ever done is just put together all the bloopers from the podcast of Hayley and I stuffing up words. It was the funniest thing ever. Just in the break, bring that back this year.
I think that was better than the actual podcast.
Yeah, I think it actually was.
The bloopers are the funniest part.
Anyways, we're moving on to our general chit-chat this week, but Brett's told us that we've had to cut out the game reviews, so that's going to be a part of the general chit-chat.
Yeah, there's been too many of them. We'd spend the whole time going through them all.
It's been a massive 14 days of footy. We actually have 5 games in 21 days for anyone that doesn't know. So we have recently just got back from a week in Melbourne where we won 8 points on the trot against St Kilda and Geelong. Do we want to quickly touch on some key moments of those games?
Well, not the game itself, but for me, it was very early on. I think it was round 1 we got to Melbourne and you, Drizzy, was on a podcast and me and Hayley discussed this, that you were saying how good it is to have so many games in such a short period.
Yeah,
and then this whole time you're telling us how bad it is. I actually don't know what you're talking about.
That's a lie.
It's not. It's
No,
on
it's not,
TV.
because I saw it as well and I was like, well, you literally went against what every single other player had been saying, we shouldn't be doing it, we shouldn't be doing it. And then you were like, it's great, we get to play lots of football.
If you guys
No.
Explain
you
yourself.
listen to that properly. See, I had to draw them because otherwise I would have thrown my pen and I can't do that. If you listened properly, I said I didn't actually say this is one thing in my head. I didn't like the condensed fixture, but what I did say though, I said I really like the week in Melbourne. That's all I said. Listen to it back. I didn't say the multiple games. I said the week in Melbourne for a gather round AFLW would be sick because we don't have to fly twice. And it's easier to just stay a week than do an extra, come home, play a home game, and then fly out the next week. That's what I said. Play it back, Brett.
I love that because I actually didn't listen to it. I just saw
Insert
the
here.
It was just the headline
See,
that I read, and I was
they
like,
love
oh.
clickbait, those guys. I didn't say the condensed fixture's good. And you know what?
But I would agree.
Even if
A
I
week
did,
in Melbourne, I'll do it.
Sarah
anytime.
Black, I take it back now because my DOMs are severe.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up because you're speaking like a young 20-year-old, not an over 30-year-old. So
Well, this is
the body's-
that's what I am. So
I know that's why I like you can't ask like young 20-year-olds this question.
no, true. They need to come to you, Braz.
Yes.
But anyways, we actually did really well. 4-day
Yeah.
break and we smashed it.
Absolutely. I actually found that 4-day break was better than like some longer breaks. I
Absolutely.
was ready to go.
And the games were incredible. We had H's 75th milestone against St Kilda on Friday.
Drisco's 50th milestone also.
The
on that
actual
Friday.
50th.
The actual one.
I feel like that was ridiculous debacle, wasn't it? So
But can we just say we got a backflip from you from that? Fantastic. I was like,
did you
know
get in
what?
trouble for that? Because we did discuss this and all
I knew you
medical
were gonna
said
stitch me
no.
up. I knew you were going to absolutely stitch me up here.
I actually don't
Okay,
know.
So for the fans, I didn't have my listening ears on. Well, I did actually.
No, you said you couldn't do it. So you lied.
I wasn't allowed to do the backflip for medical reasons, even though my body is fine. But our list size, it was a very selfish act of me because we have a few injuries at the moment and we had a back-to-back game. So it was very silly and irresponsible decision. But how good was it?
It was fantastic.
What
I
did
loved it.
what did I text you though beforehand? And I said, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Hayley enabled me. And then, to be honest, Braz, if we get up the picture of me doing the backflip, your reaction in the background also enabled me.
Oh, I was all about it. I've never been so excited in my whole life. It was way better than the game.
I think it was just fitting. Like it was just like a really close game. Like it was, up in the air for quite a bit of it. And then it was a milestone game. Everyone was up and about. Our first away game. Let's go. I haven't done it in a year, but I'm going to pull it out now.
I just wish after Hayley did like a roly-poly or something for the 75th.
That's all I can do.
No, it actually would have been pretty funny. But no, I did get in trouble for that and it won't be happening again. So I hope everyone watched it that backflip because it's not happening again.
Can we just get it on the big screen each time? If we win, just
replay
replay that.
Doctor's going to have a coronary. So no.
What we need to do is just draft someone that their sole role is to backflip after the game. Like, just get them on after the game's finished to do a backflip,
like
just to
dances
get everyone up and about. They don't ever play. They don't even have to be good at football. But
Maybe
just
don't
for a
draft
backflip.
them and just get someone from the crowd that does it. Let's not use a draft pick.
Yeah, but our list sides aren't big enough for that. Are they allowed on the ground? We'd have to get special permission. I'm sure you can do
I
that.
have no
Anyway.
idea. But just speaking on that week in Melbourne, we obviously had that big game Friday night and then the AFL Grand Final was the Saturday. Have you guys both been to multiple AFL Grand Finals or was that your first experience? Did we end up going? H, I know you didn't go, but you did some activities in the morning. Was that pretty cool?
Yeah, it is good. I go, being an ambassador for Macca's Kick to Kick means I get to go on the MCG before Grand Final day. So there's
So sick.
Yeah, there's some people that win a competition. So myself and a couple of other, so Bonnie Toogood, AFLW player, but then like the Bont and whatnot doing it with me. So that's the
Wow.
coolest part because that's also cool for me to do a kick to kick with those kind of players. Andy Brayshaw, one of them as well. I see him all
Incredible.
the time, so it's not as exciting. But actually going on the turf, you get a good feel. For the wind. It was a bit swirly and whatnot. But yeah, had my kick on goal. So you get one kick at goal. It's like a goal kicking competition.
Just one.
I nailed mine. So
Thank God.
yeah, it's a lot of
Good to
like
get
it
one
feels quite.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's quite stressful actually.
What do you get for it?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's for the
He's an
other
ambassador.
It's for the other people. So it's the ambassadors versus the people who have won the competition. We do this like goal
nice.
kicks, bit of fun.
They get Hayley Miller.
Yeah,
That's what they get.
Yeah, great.
they get to do a kick to kick to me.
Like,
Or-
surely they could
or the Bond,
throw in
you
a
know.
free Big Mac or something,
What, for me or for them?
Everyone all round.
Well,
I'll be there for that.
They get like signed footies and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, okay,
I get the experience of having a kick on grand final day on the MCG.
Gorgeousness.
But then I just left and went back to the hotel and watched the game, which I was kind of glad about because the game was not the best.
No, it was boring. What did you do, Brazill?
I went and hung out at my old coach's place to watch the game. Louis was dressed up in his Swans kit, so he didn't have a very good day.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Does he actually watch it?
No. So
So
I
he
let
doesn't actually care.
when Louis was old enough, well, he's only 4 now, but like a couple of years ago, we let him pick what team he wanted to go for. I was obviously Pies at that point. Brooke went for the Enemy and the Eagles, and then I grew up going for Swans. So he laid all the 3 jumpers out and let him choose. And he was into fire trucks at that time, so he picked the red colour.
Great,
and
perfect.
Swans it was.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Just
Frank is a Docker,
rogue.
though, so
Just be
that's
rogue.
okay.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
favourite colour's purple.
Purple. Yes.
We love
like
that girl. She's
She loves you.
she's queen energy.
How good after the game on the weekend, you were put in jail for swearing. Surprise, surprise.
From
by
Franca.
Franca, and you had to sit down on the bench for 20 minutes. It's about 20 seconds.
We've
but
actually got vision of this as well, and like I have never been more scared in my life. Other than I just sat there and I was like, I'm just really sorry about it, though. Like, I'm really sorry. And
she's like, you're not sorry.
No, you're sitting here for 20 minutes
in jail.
And you're in jail, and I've taken the keys and I've thrown them in the water, and I've gone, okay. I'm like head down, cackling with laughter. She's
very serious.
She's a boss woman, but also I say I've never been more scared in my life. In all fairness, we will get to Braz talking about her kids, but the other time I was the most scared was when Braz counted to 3. I was like, oh my God, if she did this on field, I'd be done.
Emma, you have 3 seconds.
It was like, whoa. It was brilliant. But anyway, sorry, we actually got
Moving
off
on.
We've sidetracked there.
We're back.
We've ticked off the games. Let's go to the next segment.
Well, hang on. One more thing from the games. Michaela
You have to
Morrison.
bring that up,
Michaela
yeah.
Morrison back
How have we not
from
talked about this? This should be the
900 and
first
something.
thing.
I don't know it off the top of my head. It's
73.
973 days. That girl, that's a long time to be on the sidelines, like not able to do something that you really want to do. And she had so many setbacks in that time. Obviously, the first ACL, and then literally, I think it was the first full training back, did the other side. Mm-hmm. I remember that training session, worst training session I've ever been a part of. And I think it affects everyone that was there at the time, that happening. And then to see her run out on, like, for that Geelong game. Can't believe that we finally got to that point, because I don't know what it felt like for her, but sometimes you're just like, I just so desperately want her to be able to play footy again. And I'm sure there were times where she thought it was never going to happen again.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't even her playing. It was the moment of her getting told and just like, her facial expressions, but then like everyone else's reaction. You can tell, not like obviously doing one ACL is hard enough, but you know, I think it just shows her character in this group. And I didn't know her while she was going through her ACLs, but coming into this group, I didn't even know that she had done that, because she's such a positive person and gets around the group. So that was good to see.
Yeah, just the raw emotion in it. We are so stoked to have Morrow back, and obviously have her family there to support her as well has just been incredible. And now she's got 2 games under her belt, so I just cannot wait to see how her confidence just goes through the roof in the coming weeks as well. We love you, Morrow. But speaking of confidence, things we love, celebrating these unsung heroes around the club, we're going to move on to our first segment, which is called Anchors in Action.
Hey, put on your Superman coat. It's Wolfie time. Let's go.
All right, so this is our... it's still
I know,
going.
the sting's long.
Man, it really fades out slowly, though. I thought that was going to fade out quicker. It's still going. I can still hear it. All right, Brett, all right. All right, this is our Anchors in Action, our chance to highlight the good around the club and nominate someone sort of behind the scenes. My one this week is, I always say the medical team, so I've gone like slightly off, but in
And
high
you ripped me for that as well.
Yeah, no, sorry. But they just do some good stuff, don't they?
it's
I could have said them again this week, but we'll go with Boris. Or Corey Morris. He's our high performance manager, heads up the whole thing, so keeps everyone in check. But he's always so intuitive to how each individual, I don't know what it's like for you, I assume it's the same for everyone, but, you know, asking how you are, but not just asking how you are for the sake of it, but really putting things in place to, you know, make it the best experience. So say if you're really sore after a game, it's like, how do we adjust things to make it sort of fit to you? So, Boris, thank you so much for everything you do.
Nice. I was going to go Corey.
You can say Corey as well.
No, I've thought about it. Had more thinking time. My shout out goes to the coach. This might give me some brownie points. No, but I think a week away, she didn't bat an eyelid when I said, can my family come? And
incredible.
Lou is on school holidays. Brooke obviously has a full-time job, and to be able to bring them along, and I guess you guys see what it's like, how crazy it is to be a parent, especially on the road. But she never made me feel guilty, or if it had to be in a meeting, because Brooke was at work, and it was fine. So yeah, to have a coach that gets it, understands it, doesn't make you feel, I guess, different is awesome.
Incredible. Love it. And mine is going to be Liana. She is our player development manager, and she basically, her and Ash Renshaw organised the whole program and all the behind the scenes stuff. Liana also does a bit of wellbeing there as well. So she's just so approachable, the person you can go to have a chat. And she's the person that my mother calls to get extra tickets on the weekend because I can't be bothered dealing with her requests. So I appreciate you, Liana. My mother's a hard person to deal with, so you're incredible.
Just talking on tickets, Braz.
Hayley.
How do your family and friends get tickets?
Well, they just pay for them.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Braz can't figure out how to get her free tickets.
I figured it out week one. I just haven't been able to get back there.
The funniest thing ever that my parents actually said Braz's parents couldn't get into the enclosure in round one. So they couldn't even sit with the families. Your fam.
Well,
that's just
why
the
is
way
that
it
my...
Well, they wouldn't be able to because she's not giving them the right tickets.
No,
There's only the special tickets that get you in
Well,
there.
I didn't know. What do you mean special tickets?
There's grandstand, South
See,
Freo
this is
grandstand tickets that
You've got to
sits
sort
with
your
everyone.
life out, mate.
Your poor family.
You can sort it out for me.
Yeah, I might actually have to help you because it's sad.
Oh,
but
my
in
poor
saying
parents.
that, the best thing, don't say your poor parents. Tell the fans and Hayley what your dad does.
Oh yeah, my dad wouldn't sit there anyway.
Tell him what
my
he does.
dad, depending what side the backs are, that's where my dad will be. He's like our sixth backliner in there, and he just watches the game. And he had a friend come watch the other day, and he obviously changed sides with Dad the whole time, but I think Dad was just a bit annoyed because he was talking and not watching the game. Like Dad just doesn't want to talk when I'm playing.
Does he give you tips?
Oh no! Like I could have the worst game ever, and my dad's like, "What an amazing game!" Like my parents were like the most supportive people. I'm like, "Did you have fun?" I'm like,
No.
I had so much fun.
But that is
They're
actually the
awesome.
sweetest thing ever that your dad moves ends. Like that is
they're
the
unreal.
best thing.
Yeah.
Amazing game.
However, poor Rose is sitting with everyone else, and she's probably not watching the game. She's the Italian socialite, loving her life. So
brilliant.
My dad used to do the walk laps during the game.
You get really anxious.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but he just used to walk laps like when I play waffle. I don't know if he does it anymore because you can't get all the way around. So you have to go like up and back. I don't know if he does it anymore, but
Well, my dad's blind as a bat.
Your dad, is he watching?
Blind as a bat in terms of eyesight, but also the amount of beers he's drinking. So my parents are certainly in the bar watching it on TV.
And if you're 17, it's free. I know this because my parents pay.
Oh, no. Well, speaking on your parents, Brazza, we're going to move on to your upbringing. Let's start with your upbringing, kind of like journey through life before we move on to your incredible sporting career. You've got 34 years to talk about, so I've
there's a lot of
exposed
them.
you there. But you were born in Campbelltown,
Yep,
New
well
South
done.
Wales. What was life
Campbelltown.
like growing up?
No,
What's your dad's name again, sorry?
Grant and Rose, and I got a brother Jake.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like had the best childhood. So grew up in Campbelltown until I was about 2, and then moved out to the Southern Highlands. And yeah, grew up on a few acres. Yeah, literally just I can't speak more highly about my childhood. My parents gave us absolutely everything, and yeah, when looking back, I just hope that when my kids are my age, they think that as well, because it's a tough job parenting. But yeah, it's been I think for me, both mum and dad were really athletic growing up. My mum still has like records for high jump.
Wow.
At like state level. So, and then dad played cricket and like rugby for New South Wales. So. Sport was definitely something that my brother and I grew up with, and we were probably never in front of the TV. We were always outside kicking the footy, throwing a netball. I hated school, so anytime I could just trial for a school team just to get a day off school, I would. So I did absolutely everything, even cross country, and I hate running, so I even did that. But yeah, I think when I look back at my childhood, it's just evolved around sport.
I feel like you went through some. We've seen some photos of you. You went through some phases.
Oh, with my hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk us through that because Braz used to have dreadlocks, and that's the funny. Like it's just
So I
such
guess-
it's like a punk rocker type. Not punk. I don't even know what you'd call.
I thought I was a bit of a hippie,
Like,
but
Yeah,
far from it.
you could maybe say that. I don't know. I actually definitely want to hear the evolution of your hair, but then I guess how that linked in with netball as well. Like, I feel like because
How my hair linked in with
you
netball.
know, sorry, that's for me. That's in my brain. Sorry, I'm a neurodivergent. I've got to just explain that story about like I just want everyone to know that I'm sitting and playing football with my idol. Ash Braz was literally my idol growing up. Mum has got the video recorder, you know, the single eye video recorder of me getting posters signed by Braz. I've got to get her to get the footage. It's the best thing ever. And that was when Braz had dreadlocks. So I only knew Ash Braz with dreadlocks playing netball for Fever at the time. And then I just feel like it's just like weird that you don't have them anymore. And I get to play football with you every week.
Did you shave them off or did you like get them unpicked?
I'm now just awkward.
Imagine unpicked.
Yeah, did you
No,
get them, or did you
I
shave
got them.
off?
I got them cut off. Yep.
Like completely. So you were
Yeah, I had
like,
short hair.
How'd
Yep.
you do
like
that?
real
though?
short.
Well, because I always wanted dreadlocks, so
When did this start?
ever since I was a little kid, I was always different, and I think it's probably going a bit deep here, but so netball, like I don't know, I think it's definitely changed now. But growing up as a kid, like netball was the girly sport. You were straight if you played netball. You had the blonde hair, the pink ribbon,
The ribbon.
and I was everything but that. And you know, you felt different. Well, I think growing up, I never did it. Probably it wasn't until I got into the elite level that I was like, oh, I'm definitely not the stereotype of netball. And that was probably the era where I was like trying to figure out who I was sexuality wise, and obviously I wasn't comfortable with myself. I didn't want to be gay, and I didn't want to be known as the gay netballer. And that was the first year that I got my contract. And it was this whole like evolution of like, who am I? What do I want to be? And I was kind of a bit of a rebel at that point. And I think if you ask my mum, this is going back and she probably would disagree with this, but she probably didn't want to have a gay child. She definitely didn't want a child with dreadlocks. And I think her other one was no tattoos, being the Catholic Italian she is. And so I did two of them. I don't have the tattoo, but I'm definitely gay, and I definitely had dreadlocks. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a thing. It was just, yeah, I think I probably just rebelled a little bit, just trying to figure out who I was, and I wanted to be different. And I think that was probably what I hid behind, because if I didn't want you to talk about me and my sexuality, so talk about my dreadlocks, talk about something different. And I was the first out netballer ever internationally as well. So at that level,
that is so incredible.
yeah. So it
I
was,
didn't know that.
yeah, it was huge. And like,
Yeah.
I guess I was lucky that I was young and I had my parents' support of, they just wanted me to be happy and not be, yeah, I guess I was pretty upset. And I remember I'd cry the whole way into training, like bawling my eyes out, get to training, pretend I was all okay, and then literally bawl my whole way home because I just didn't want to be gay. I didn't want to be different. And my parents as well thought if I was to ever get contracted and they found out I was gay, I would lose my contract. Like that's how like, and this, I'm going back, like I was professional netballer for 15 years. So it's not like how the world is today. I even had players, coaches tell me like, oh, it's just a phase, Braz, like, because it was just not a thing.
It's actually wild. To me.
And it's completely different now, which is great. But you know, you can't be what you can't see, and I think that was probably the hardest thing. I was 17, 18, and trying to be so different, and just not even different, trying to be me. I wasn't trying to be different. I was just trying to be me and be comfortable. But at the same time, netball was, as much as it was, I was different. It was my safe place, because for an hour a week, I got to play netball and be judged on my ability, not my sexuality, and I could just be free. And there, like, I knew I was loved because of my performance, so I didn't want that to change. And maybe that's where the dreads came along, but I definitely felt cool with them.
No, that's actually.
I think I would be. Yeah, I always thought. Yeah, I cut them off, Hayley. Why I cut them off is I broke my wrist and I couldn't maintain them, and so I was.
Wow.
Did you maintain them yourself? Didn't go like.
No, I'd have to go get them done because they weren't real. Like, they weren't real dreads. They got made, and I washed them all the time, so they didn't smell.
So you had like nice dreads.
Yes.
My cousin has the most disgusting dress.
They're gross.
He's just from the farm, and I think he just did himself.
Yeah, but no, it was cool. It was a bit of personality.
Yours were like fresh.
I wish we could have talked about this later because we're coming into Pride round this week, but also it's still so fitting. Like that story in itself, Braz, I just am like baffled that you're able to talk about it like that without getting emotional, because I'm getting emotional thinking about you being in that netball environment, obviously feeling like you didn't fit in for so long. And I think that just fits in so nicely though with the AFLW landscape being so inclusive and a round like Pride Round to celebrate our like LGBTQIA plus community, I think is just so incredible. And I suppose before we do go like recap your journey, how amazing has the transition been, like playing netball, but also playing netball and footy at the same time, and then just injecting yourself into this football world and being a bloody gun at it? Like,
it's been honestly like a dream come true. And I say that because, and it's just so lame, but I love, like, I'm a big bucket list person, like tick it off. And I've been like this since I was a little kid, and I used to write down, like I want to make the state 17s team, 19s team. And like I found this book. So mum and dad sold up and have just moved across to WA as well. And so they're like, here's all your crap. And I literally found this book that I wrote when I was in high school. And one of them was to be a professional athlete in like multiple sports. And like, who writes that one? Because like that wasn't even a thing when I was a child. And, to look back at that and I'm just like, how has this happened? And like, I know obviously I'm now Freo, but I couldn't thank Collingwood enough because, I always loved footy and, but netball was my main sport and I wanted to make it work. And, Eddie Maguire loves a good story. So he jumped on it and supported me the whole way through. And like, I couldn't thank him enough because it didn't just happen overnight. Like Netball Australia did not want it to happen, and rightly so. Like the contracts you sign, you don't want your players injured and, all of, the stuff that comes with it. And footy was new and no netball was getting behind football. So it was very different. But, we pushed really hard and it got to draft day and I remember like it all got ticked off. But then the last piece of the puzzle was Collingwood had to pick me up. Otherwise it couldn't work. And I think Netball Australia probably backing in all the other clubs to pick me up. And, just lucky enough that no one did, and I guess everyone knew that if I wasn't picked up by Pies, it couldn't happen. So it was lucky it got through. So sick.
Talk to us. I want to dive into your netball a little bit because you've talked about how I know you went and dabbled in a little bit of footy at the same time as netball. Don't know how much you can go into this.
I can
now.
fully
you
go
can
into it.
full into it. Well, you're now out of
netball don't own me.
You're out of netball now, so you can. But they didn't want you to play footy at all. But you obviously had this love for footy that you did want to play a little bit, and you did get injured playing football when you were contracted as a netballer. Talk about it because I think that kind of made it difficult for you in the netball sense, and they didn't. I don't know what word would be, like trust you or whatnot in terms of, that netball football. And is that what then when it came to AFLW, because that was pre-AFLW, when it came to AFLW, the hesitancy to let you do both?
I want to start from the start with that though.
Okay. Well, I played footy as a kid, always played with the boys, which is strange in New South Wales because
footy's not even
I didn't even know AFL was a sport, to be completely honest, until we moved out country. Just fell in love with the game. And anytime, Emma having another drink, guys, don't stress. And then anytime, that I could kick a footy, I would. Like my brother played representative. He was with the Swans Academy for a bit. Like it was just in our family. So absolutely loved it. Was lucky enough, like even though I was told I couldn't play with the boys, I always had a selector come out when I was 14, 15, 16 to see if I could still match it with the boys. And I was lucky enough that they kept saying, yep, you're fine. And then netball kind of came into my life, made the Institute of Sport. And so I never really felt like I had to choose netball because it just happened. And obviously AFLW wasn't around, so it wasn't a big deal. And then moved to Fever and Kirby Bentley reached out. And I played with Curbs in New South Wales for netball, and she was just my idol. Like the way she played netball was even better than how she played footy. Like she was just a star. And so when she's like, "Oh, we're down a player the next couple of weeks, do you want to play?" And like I was mid-season, And I was just this young kid, and I was like, yeah, awesome. Like, and I was just like, but I've got a game with fever. I'm pretty sure it was like playing the Swifts. This is time the game finishes. She's like, that's fine. You just need to make it before half time. I was like, all right, brilliant. So game finishes, quickly like do autographs, go into the change rooms, probably got sprayed by the coach, and then jumped in the car and literally just headed down to East Fremantle. Made it there before the second quarter, jumped on, and then, played. Was able to get, I think, 5 games in before finals, thought everything was sweet. We made it all the way to the grand final, which was awesome. And then, thought it was done, ticked all the boxes, netball had finished, footy had finished, and then that year I was invited to the presentation night and got Rookie of the Year. And I remember and Sue Gordian was like the presenter of that night, and she's currently the head of high performance for West Coast Fever. So she was a pretty big dog. So when I saw her announcing the awards, I was like, oh, I'm dead. But she was like, I think, in my mind, she was going to keep it a secret, but then didn't matter because it was in the paper. And then I remember getting a phone call from the CEO and walked into the office thinking maybe I'm getting an extension on my contract. And then there was a paper on the bench, and I was like, oh, I'm dead here. Anyway, they let me know what for and just said, this could end your career pretty much. And Norma Plummer was my head coach, who's pretty tough. And I think I gave it up for like a year or two, and then I didn't make diamonds, so I just went back and did it again without anyone knowing. And obviously had a few injuries here and there, and I think netball definitely put it down to footy, but I've been injured probably more times in netball than I have footy. So. And I look back and everyone's like, oh, surely you wouldn't have played a game like the game you get injured. And I was like, I wouldn't change a thing, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had the career I had. And you learn from so many things, and the setbacks just makes all the, I guess, success feel even better.
So then after that break you took a break from Fever, did you then leave to play Collingwood netball? And you moved over?
No, so I didn't take a break from netball. I was like playing the games while I was playing netball.
While you were okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Naughty
girl. I didn't know.
Yeah. You need to be in jail.
Yeah. In jail for 20 minutes.
Yeah, so when I was with, a lot longer.
Longer than 20 minutes.
No, so I was with Fever for 6 years. I captained my last 3 years.
Yep.
And I was playing my best netball. I was getting like MVP of Fever.
I know, mate, because I was following. I was there. I was in the journey with you. You made wing defence cool. I was like, yes.
It was with Fever. Was getting all these awards, but just wasn't cracking into the diamond side. And I guess I was that annoying athlete that's, as a kid, it's all I ever wanted to do was play for Australia. So I was hitting up the diamonds coach every year. Well, what do I need to do now? What's next? What's this? What's that? And she'd give me a list, and then I'd tick it all off, still wouldn't make it. And then, 1 year, it was just like, you're comfortable here, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And I took that as like, well, I need to leave to get better. And I had the same coach for the same amount of time, loved it, loved Fever. Like still to this day, I think, Fever really close to my heart. Stacey, who was our coach at the time, was, not just a coach, but a really good friend. So it was a really hard decision, but I think I was lucky that Brooke said to me, my wife at the time, still my wife, I love you, darling. She's like, and she was earning way more money than me. And we just bought a house, and for us to move, she had to leave her job. And I can't even look at you now, I'm dead. She's like, being an athlete, it only lasts, for such a short period of time. I can come back to work whenever, and to have like a partner that backs you in to do that, I think, was massive. So we made the move to Melbourne, got to play with some incredible athletes. I think my first year at Collingwood, there was 6 of our starting 7. I was the 7th that were diamonds. So I was the non-diamond. And not even what I learnt from the coaches, but just what I learnt from playing with such incredible athletes. Like training was harder than the games. Training was just nuts. It was a big decision, a big move. I thought I'd only be there for 2 years and go back to Fever because I loved it so much. But once we moved to Melbourne, fell in love with it. Came back purely just because, we went through the COVID era, and that was not fun. And I think for Brooke, being able to not know when we could see her family again. We had little Louis, he was 6 weeks old when Brooke's parents saw him last, and then the next time he was like 11 months. And then so it was just, you know, when you become a parent, you envision your grandparents with the kids. So not having that was a big change. And we moved back home. I'm lucky I didn't have to hang up the footy boots and could move over here.
It's incredible.
Play with you, little two.
I could listen to you talk all day.
It's actually what. But she missed the best part, and that is that you retired from netball, but you went out on top, winning gold at the 2023 World Cup.
Oh, I didn't know we're talking netball. Like
we're doing both.
Well, they were interchangeable.
Yeah,
so
well, okay.
we'll talk about both.
Like yes, you've come over here and yes, being able to play with us is amazing. But wow, you've won a gold medal.
Yeah, no, it's been unreal. And like since I was a little kid, like I used to put all my teddy bears and my dolls around my room, and I'd stand on my bed and put like a ribbon over and pretend I'd win gold. Like I was so obsessed with like either playing either the Olympics or Com Games, just anything. I just wanted to represent my country. I wanted to have a gold medal, any medal. I just wanted a medal.
And you got to do that.
Yeah, and it was weird because, you know, 15 years being an elite netballer, and it was only the last 2 years of my career that I actually made it and cemented my spot, and I was lucky enough that it was a Com Games gold medal and a World Cup. So, it wasn't going to get any better than that. And so, after that, even after Com Games, I didn't even, I'm so thankful for the World Cup, but the Com Games was just one of the best moments of my life. And not even winning the gold medal, just walking in the, the opening ceremony for me. I was just frothing it so hard.
That's so sick.
I've got the footage I've got from the opening ceremony. You would have thought I won a gold medal then.
Amazing.
But anyway, that's my story.
I feel like you just ticked so many boxes, but that is just wild to how you've done that in your 15-year netball career, but also your perseverance to go back and crack in and make the Diamonds team, like you said, after those years of not getting in.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, I think every athlete experiences highs and lows, and there's not one athlete I've ever met that's just gone high, high, high. But like I said before, all the lows make everything a lot better. And there was players in our Com Games team that had been there multiple years, and you could just even tell them, like, it was kind of just a given because they've never really had that hard setback. But you could tell the girls who fought really hard to be there because it just meant everything. And you weren't ashamed to be excited. And probably me as well. Like, I was, I think, 32. I had my 2 kids in the crowd and my wife, and like I had more than netball. So to win, to be there was just a awesome. But you know, I had more things in my life that were win or lose. I was coming off the court to a dirty nappy, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
but it was good.
Well, it's funny watching you. Like, obviously, we just went away for that week in Melbourne, and just how much. Yeah, it is. It's not about like the football. Like, there's obviously the footy side of it, but then you're just a mum to them, and they don't care.
No, and they don't want to watch. No. Louis keeps telling me football's boring. I'm like, I understand, mate. Like, I get it, but can you please come and watch? Put the jumper on just so it looks like you're supporting.
It's
and they sit there and play with Play-Doh the whole game, so it's great.
I think it made us see, I guess, the influence that your family has on you as well. But I guess just your core values as well, Braz, I guess relate to family. And I think that's why Freo, I feel like we pride ourselves on being a family and being so connected. I feel like that would resonate so much with you. I guess just touch on the impact that Brooke, your wife, has had on you, but then now your 2 kids, Louis and Franca, you've brought them up several times before. Like, how much do they mean to you? And like you said, even seeing them in the crowd each week, how much does that mean?
Oh, they're everything. And, you know, putting the kids aside, like Brooke's my number one, not just, you know, supporter, but, you know, she's my do or die. We do everything together. Our goals are the same. And yeah, you know, like I said before, she was the one that not allowed, because that's a weird word, but supported me to go to Melbourne and completely change our world. And one part of that story I didn't talk about is I talked about her being the main income earner. I got offered like 80, 90,000 to stay with Fever, and then Collingwood only offered me 30 because of the list we had, and we took that. And it was just like, to anyone else, it was mind-blowing, but that's how much my career meant to me and her, because it wasn't about the money. Like, it was this childhood dream. And it was tough. Like, I think all my money just went to the rent. So Brooke was like literally feeding me. But, you know, there's sacrifices like that, not many people would do for you because you're thinking about long term, but we were just thinking, what, next 5 years, what does it look like? And yeah, she gave me that. And yeah, no, I couldn't. Well, the best part about it is we both know what each other mean for each other. And one of the best moments that I've got with Brooke is when we did win the gold medal at the Com Games, and the excitement she had on her face. We had a sold out stadium, so like 50,000 people. All of them were going for for Jamaica, even though we were in England. All the red and white were going for Jamaica, and there was about 25 family members that were going for us, and they were literally fighting with the crowd the whole time. And I remember running up and grabbing her after the game, and she's like, "We did it!" And like for her to know that it was both of us to get to this point, like, was just everything. Because I was like, I don't even need to tell you. Like you get it. You've been there for the highs and lows, and all the supporters who back you in and they're with you when you're winning. But when you're losing and behind closed doors and all the tears that no one sees, like your family do. Mm-hmm. And mum and dad have definitely seen it. But yeah, Brooke's been there every step of the way, which has been awesome.
And the two.
Shout out, Brooke.
Cherubs.
Oh, and the kids just make it bloody hard. There's no sleep. It's tough. They don't like sport. Frankie's my hope for football. No, but they're awesome. And like they just bring that reality check that it is a game. And I think that's probably where my career's changed. I was so serious, especially my first couple of years as captain. Like I felt like everyone had to be like me. They had to want it like me. And having kids definitely changes that because, I couldn't care less if they're into sport or not. I love them exactly the way they are. And they taught me that about my teammates. And win or lose, as long as my family and my kids are healthy, then I am happy. Obviously, I'll reflect on the game and I don't want to lose. But,
there's more.
There's more and you can learn from it. Yeah. Sorry if I don't seem too serious or angry when we lose.
I think, but you coming into our team, that it's been a real positive, experience. Especially like for me, because I'm like that, where I'm like, it's the best thing in the world when we win and it's the worst thing when we lose. But like, I feel like every time after a game, you're always like, you're all good. Like, we're good. And like round 2, that was pretty, like, it's a pretty bad loss. Like, that's a pretty bad loss, but you were like, you know what? Well, it's like, it happened round 2. So we have. Yeah,
thank God it's not round 10.
We have a whole entire season to sort of, fit, and it's all about, okay, what didn't work. And then we have, how many did we win in a row? 4, 3, whatever we won. 5, 4. Come on,
sorry, I meant we're 5 and 2.
Oh. No, but in a row. Then we won 4 in a row from that point. So you go, okay, well, maybe we just had.
And it's not like, and as much as that's my kids, I also think it's being older. Like I've definitely been there where it's like poor Brooke couldn't speak to me. Like I remember we used to get in the car and I'd start the stopwatch. She'd get 5 minutes. She could talk about the game. Yeah, and I'd just be like, yes, I remember that. And she just like she just loves it. Yeah. But now I'm just like, let's talk about it. Let's rewatch it. Like it's the learnings you get from it. I think.
I feel like for me, Braz, it's not even the glass is half full mentality that you have. It's just your nonchalant nature. Like I know I'm a cat on a hot tin roof, so we balance each other out a bit there. But I feel like just meeting you, I don't know about you, H, but again, Braz was my idol. But knowing Ash Braz was coming in, I just had this perception of Braz as being this elite athlete. She's the best of the best. She is going to be Kiara Bowles on steroids, and we're going to have to run. And we're going to have to be like single file. Oh, captain, my captain. We're going to turn it on here because Ash Braz is coming in. And then
she comes in and goes, I hate running.
What a disappointment.
And I was like, she's so normal. She's not a robot. She's a real life human being that hates running just like the rest of us.
Like everyone.
And she's normalising it. And I don't know about you, but I just think that was the best thing about you, Braz, is like you can set the standards and you can absolutely push people to be better, and that's what makes you a great leader. But you can also sympathise and understand, I guess, at that same
running?
level.
Seriously, it's not me, that's for sure.
No, but it's great. Like, I think that was mind-boggling for me. I don't know about you, H. But you look at her accolades and you're like, oh, she's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, but it's good to be able to...
no, you got to have balance.
But you also, like, it's not like you don't work hard. Like, when you got to go run, you go run. Yeah. And it's just like, this is what we're doing, and we're elite athletes like that. But it doesn't mean that you have to love every single thing that we have to do to play this game. No, because playing the game's a fun part. There is so much that comes to it that is not that enjoyable.
Yeah, but you talk about the fun, right? Like you said, that's the fun part. Well, for me, why did I start playing it? Because I loved it and it was fun. And I always just go back to and that's my biggest thing in when I was captain of the netball teams is like, what's your why? Like, why did you start playing it? And if you still have that, great. But if not, where did you lose that and how can we get you back to that? Because I just think it's a game. Yeah. And if a 1 hour, 2 hour game a week is going to ruin the week for the rest of the week, it is not worth it.
Yeah.
Go get another job that you enjoy because the amount of people that would love to be where we are, like I look at Brooke and Brooke always says she wanted to play for Australia, but she married an Australian just to say she's been there. But like, honestly, like I think she's my reality check that there are so many people out there that would love to be us.
Yeah.
So if you don't enjoy it, then step away and give it to someone else that will enjoy it. But the end. That's my story. That's my philosophy.
I love it anyway. It's the best thing ever.
All right.
Shall we move on?
Shall we head to some dish with
This
Driz?
is going to be a long cut.
Nah.
Sorry. This is,
because I just literally could listen to you talk all day, and then I looked at the time. I was like, oh my god,
It's
okay,
amazing.
wrap it up.
No, dish with Driz. Okay, perfect.
That's the fun part.
We are actually going to start with, we were just talking about your family, so I feel like I'll start with a little bit about your family here. And I contacted your beautiful wife.
Oh, I know, because she was sitting in the car next to me giggling, and I was like, I'm on the pod this week. It's definitely Emma.
We just want to hear about the story of when you fainted when Brooke's water broke with Louis. And you had to have a sleep to recover. Hang on, you had to have a sleep to recover when your wife was in labour. Explain.
I'm going to shout out to all the men out there. It is hard being the partner. And obviously the women as well that aren't giving birth. But it is a full job and a half. Everyone talks about it being the best day of your life. They are lying. It is not.
You pass out.
It was. I remember we did all these birth classes, right? And we had a midwife who was a male, and he was helping his wife, obviously, in the classes. The classes are so much fun, but he said, "Wait to the go day," and he goes, "Wait till you walk into the rooms, and there's a smell." And I was "What?" Anyway, as Brooke's in labour, we're going to the labour suites. And I walk in and the first thing...
Did you actually faint when her water broke though?
Sorry. Yeah, so our kids were induced. So her...
Oh, sorry.
So she hadn't... Our kids were 42 weeks, so 2 weeks overcooked.
Oh my God.
Brooke would have been huge, the poor girl.
Poor darling. And our kids were pretty much 10 pounds.
Oh
they were
my
big
God.
bummers. Anyway, so 42 weeks and then they give you this gel that makes you go into labour.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're as soon as they gave Brooke this gel, it was instant, 45-second contraction, literally 5 seconds off. And it was just it was mental. And so as that's happening, they're wheeling her into the suites and I just decide to have a smell, don't I? No. What an idiot. And it was instantly I felt sweat.
Oh, no.
I felt sick. And I was it wasn't even the labour. And anyway, we go into the room and anyway, Brooke stands up and... Sorry, podcast listeners, but her waters just break and there was that much water. It was it just kept coming. And it's not just one bit of water. There was just water just going. And I just look at Brooke and I was like, I don't feel well. And then Brooke was still in a good headspace and she's
God, thank goodness.
She's like, it's okay, lay down. I need you to be good soon.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I just literally laid down. My hand was Brooke's got this photo. I'll put it on. But my arm's just down and I literally look like I'm dribbling.
She's limp.
I was so bad. Anyway, but then I came good and I was the best partner
It's like you forced all that water, mate.
Oh, it was...
No.
It was definitely the smell. So anyone going through that, Brett, when you get there, do not smell. Just put a peg on it.
Brett's oh my God, it's not long till I have to go through this.
That is actually wilder that you remembered it from the pregnancy class. Anyways.
No, but yeah, you talk about... obviously, women are just incredible because as the partner, once the baby's born and the baby's on you, it's all the pain is gone. But Brooke told me she was going to die in one of those contractions, and then all of a sudden she's like, "What a beautiful baby!" I was what is happening?
Also, I just find that incredible that you then go back and have
No,
do
this
it
is
again.
the problem. This is the thing.
What is going
they don't
on
remember.
in here?
I don't know what it is, but the partner remembers everything. And I remember when she had her first contraction with Frankie, and she's like, "No, I didn't faint this time. I started laughing at her. What do you mean, no?
I'm going to die.
It's like, what do you mean you don't remember this? And I was laughing. The poor girl's in pain.
I remember this.
Yeah, you're like,
this is why I wouldn't have
to do this
But
again.
I find that like amnesia wild. Like this, like oxytocin's running through your body, and you've just got this hormone that's erasing everything.
Yeah. Well, I thought about maybe carrying once, but now I've seen it. No way.
Anyways, great stories. That is the best thing ever. So now we are going to move on to, got a few netball stories here. The first time she was ever dragged from the netball court was because her coach thought she was sick. It turns out she just didn't have fake tan on. What?
Well, Hayley would understand we're fake
I
tanners.
actually do.
I understand on an emotional level.
I understand this far too well.
Yeah.
One of my teachers at school one time said to me, like, "Oh, you look really pale. Like, are you okay?" And I
Is
was
this
like,
when you had black hair? Because I would
possibly,
understand
yeah.
that.
Also hates with
It
black
actually
hair.
might have been, yeah. And they were like, "No," I was like, "No, I just don't." Like, we weren't allowed to wear makeup. And I was like, just didn't put any on that day. I was like, well, this is why we're having this fight every morning about me wearing makeup to school. Because you just said I look sick when I'm not wearing it.
Oh my God,
Anyway,
that's
so
so
that's
funny.
my thoughts of when people say you look sick. I'm like, no, I'm just pale.
And I was having one of the best games of my life when I got dragged as well.
Best thing ever.
Like, and it just drags me.
And was like, are you sick?
We're in the yeah. So we like go in the sheds, and then Norma Plummer again, one of the biggest names in netball, icon. Can get a bit angry, but she's just like, Gilly, you're into centre. Braz, go see the doctor. And I was like, what? And I like walked over to the doctor, and I was like, what's wrong? Thinking like, I don't know, maybe something's going on with my family. I need to like leave. And then she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you look like you're going to faint. And I was like, I literally haven't faked tan. Anyway, I was back on him in 5 minutes. I was like,
and you're like, I'm having the game of my life. Like,
even if I'm going to faint, leave me out there.
we could do with a bit of a timeout.
100% just faint.
Oh, I
that's so
remember my mum and her best mate, my auntie Jenny, who's not my real auntie, they played netball together, like, best years of their life. My auntie Jenny would always have like a scab on some part of her body
to
that
call
she could
time?
scratch
Oh, and
for
be
the
like-
blood rule.
Netball is
That's quite
wild.
That's quite clever.
Anyway, so Norma, if you're listening to this, should have left her on.
No, well, now she's ruined me because now I can't play without fake
No,
tanning.
No, you have to. Yeah, you're exposed now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That is great.
No, this next one's hilarious.
Next one, brilliant. Okay, you have got to the netball stadium
Yeah. Oh, she said that I've
and
left
you
something.
have ran out of fuel. That is got to be illegal.
At the entry, and you had to push the car in.
Can I just say, I didn't run out of fuel. Brooke ran out of fuel. This has got nothing to do with me. And this was also one of my first games as captain as well. So I was like pumped and ready. Brooke had this little blue Alfa Romeo and she's turned the corner into the stadium and she hasn't just run out of petrol. She's run out of petrol blocking the road.
Nah,
Because she's
that's
like
so
sideways.
good. I could imagine that. I'm just imagining that happening
Also,
at footy
that
because
would
you would
only happen
just down that part where you're like, okay.
And this
you know,
was
you
this was
push
in
it.
my serious everyone has to be like me era. So I was out of the car pushing it like beeping Brooke. Anyway, then the kid's like, that's Ash Brazill. And I'm like, Braz. And I was like, oh my
Like,
God,
I'm
dead.
pushing
It was so embarrassing.
my car that's ran out of fuel.
Then I just left her there. I got it off the road and I left her. I ran into the stadium. I was so
to
embarrassed.
go and play.
That's
Talk about being triggered.
Yeah, well, actually play. Whenever I'm triggered, I actually play well. So Brooke always now tries to set me up. So bad.
Let's just Brooke like empties the tank, like punctures a tire.
We're not even like out of
Sucker.
fuel. She just turns it off.
Nah, that is so bad, Braz. Almost illegal. Anyways, I'm skipping the next point, H, and we're going on to. I don't even know how to word this. Okay. Lisa Webb ran into you at a park in Melbourne and you had no idea who she was. Talk about the time frame around this because that's almost appalling.
Okay. Well, so I announced my retirement in January and from netball and then obviously my manager contacted Freo and Eagles just to be like, Braz wants to move home. Can this work? And then was chatting with both clubs, and Lisa and Fremantle reached out and said, well, can Braz catch up with Lisa? She's in Melbourne this week. And I was like, it was literally the next day I was flying out for the World Cup. And I was like, as much as I would love to, I'm not even thinking footy. Like, I'm about to go on to the biggest stage of my career.
Yeah.
The last time I ever played netball, I do not want to be thinking footy. Anyway, and Freo were great. No worries, Braz. Good luck for World Cup. Awesome. Then packed my bags and I was like, better go, like, because the kids weren't going to come to World Cup. So I was like, I'll take him to the park and just be a good parent before I take off and throughout the park. Anyway, this lady goes out, Braz, and like waves at me. And I was like, well, thinking World Cup.
She's a fan.
She's a netball fan. And I was like, hey. And she's like, come over and hugged me. And I was like, I have no idea who this person is. And just like keep doing like nice chit chat.
You didn't ask her though. You were just talking.
Oh, she was well aware I didn't know who she was because she was like, it's Lisa, Freo head coach. And I was like, oh, crap. And now she doesn't want me. Anyway.
Oh, no.
So, but we're literally in Sandringham. Like, we weren't even in Melbourne. And we're at the same park with our kids.
People don't even know who she is now.
Mate, they come into our change rooms pre-game. They go, who's that one?
And anyway, yeah, we spent, as much as that part was awkward, we then spent the next hour together and our kids hung out and we like, and this is, why Freo was such an easy choice. Like, she knew that I was flying out the next day and to Lisa's credit, didn't even bring up Freo. Like, didn't even talk footy, was just chatting netball, chatting kids, chatting being a parent.
Right.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know, I'm a big believer that the universe puts you in places.
So
and
that
like,
encounter sold you.
That was, and there was a lot more that sold Freo, but that was definitely like, whoa, like this is weird. So yeah, I now know who Lisa Webb is.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And now this hasn't actually occurred playing football here yet, but there have been occasions where you have forgotten your shoes, dress on game day, and Brooke, your wonderful wife, has had to race home to get them. So as much as she runs out of fuel, she also does you a favour.
Again, I play better when weird stuff like this happens.
She just leaves it at home on purpose. And she's like, oh, Brooke, oh no.
Yeah, and it's not like home's not close. Like, we were like half an hour away.
Yeah, like where was this one? What was that specific occasion where you forgot your shoes or your dress?
Oh, like it happens. It's happened multiple times.
Oh no,
game day. So yeah, and Brooke, like, she's a miracle worker because she'll like, I'll be warming up in my tracksuit. And
that
like,
is so
they've got the blood dress there, but like the blood dress is like 4 sizes too big. So I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for Brooke, and she'll be there like just before the whistle. It's unbelievable.
I don't know how
it's gonna happen.
Kids at the time or no kids at the time?
Oh yeah, we've had. I think Louis been not with Frankie. Frankie have been
How
pretty
forget
organised.
Your dress though, like the one thing.
Oh, because I don't like the girls will wear it there, where I'm very much like I do not think netball or footy until like the last meeting.
Fair.
I'm like, you know how we don't
like
put
that.
our jumper on until the end? So like I did that with my netball dress. So I just forget it. And also, Emma, we don't take our jumpers home. I guarantee you would definitely forget your jumper.
Someone would forget their stuff.
Out of everyone, it would probably be.
Yeah, footy's different now. They get washed for us. It's unbelievable. That's why it hasn't happened a year yet.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And we all know how much you hate running, which is brilliant. Have you ever been seriously committed to pre-season since you were a kid? Because apparently you used to fake the running around the block and you used to say that you used the home pool as recovery.
Did you have a home pool?
Yeah.
No, you actually did. That would be even better if you didn't actually have a pool.
No,
I'm using the home pool.
This was more for my parents. I don't even think they know. Surely they weren't that dumb. But I would get like, the old iPhones and all the disc runners, who knows what I was not using, and I'd go like, we had a 100-meter driveway, and then I'd go like, all right, I'm going for a run. I don't even know why. They never forced me to be a runner or to be an athlete, but I think in my mind that's what athletes did. So I'd jog down the 100-meter driveway and then I'd turn left and there was this little tree where you could hide behind. I'd sit there and I'd just listen to the music for about an hour.
No.
And then Dad would be out mowing or something.
Sitting behind the tree.
Yeah, it'd just be like me time. And I'm not like you, Emma. I'm an introvert at heart, so I just wanted to recharge. And then I'd jog back my 100 metres and I'd see Dad like mowing like our acreage and I'd literally just go bomb in the pool. So like one, I was like, he couldn't tell
they
that I
wouldn't
wasn't
know.
sweating.
I was going to say, they're going to know you haven't gone for an hour-long run.
So here they are thinking I'm super committed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
too
thing
good.
ever.
not much has changed.
There you go,
And
lessons.
that's why I joined another sport just so I could do another pre-season. I don't like training by myself.
So you can just play, and that's how you get fit, as
100%.
opposed to pre-season
Yeah,
running.
this one was different. I had to actually do a pre-season. That
No,
was a
great
bit
great
hard.
lessons for your kids to learn. Fake it till you make it.
That's my quote.
I've got one more thing that wasn't on here, sorry, and then I think we move to from the fans.
It's been over an
just
hour.
quickly, Braz.
It's 1:28.
Grand final footy show a few years back, playing for the Collingwood
yeah, how
Magpies. We have the vision here. How was it dancing on the footy show in your jumper with this random skirt at the time you had your dreadies? It's the best vision I've ever seen.
I didn't even have my dreadies in. That was a wig. And I looked like a drag queen. I'm sure we're
My
going to
favourite
put it
thing
up.
is, because we were talking
I
about...
was in my element though. I was just...
You were like canning hard.
I was just almost in a hammy, but
I love it because we were giving Gabby O'Sullivan so much flack for it because she did it the first year and then you just didn't say anything.
I didn't
And
say
then
anything.
someone
No.
found it that you
Jay.
had done the same thing.
Jay found
Jay,
it.
Jay finds everything.
And Braz had done the same thing. These performances
even
they
better.
made the AFLW
Yeah.
players do were horrendous.
That's
Anyway,
too
it wouldn't
good.
be allowed now. It's so
There was
bad.
no
No.
comment really needed other than I can't wait to get the vision up for
Yeah,
that.
that's fantastic. This is what we're going to do. We keep running out of time. So next week when we do it, we're going to do From the Fans first up for a good chunk of time. Okay, so please, and we know that, people have actually sent them in this time. So thank you. Please do send them in again or we can do these ones
We
next
might
week.
just do a
but-
podcast just from the
Yeah,
fans.
just from fans at the end of the year.
Just
but
you
thank
two.
you. Yeah, thank you for sending them through. We just need to get through our stuff a little bit quicker.
Keep sending them
Braz,
through.
talk too
We'll
much.
start next week with
Yep.
that segment. Otherwise, we move on to our round 7 clash this weekend against Carlton at home. It is Pride Round. How excited are we for the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. The jumpers look fantastic. Obviously, we spoke a bit about, obviously, your story. So we always love Pride Round and how important it is in the AFLW. And we had a great crowd on the weekend. So hopefully we get that again.
Oh, super excited. I just love wearing different
You
colours
got
and
your
seeing the
shirt
rainbow.
on.
Yeah,
You got your Pride Round shirt
This is
on.
actually Brooke's game day shirt. I just took it. But yeah, no, super excited. And I think the fact that you can be whoever you want to be and your family can come along and feel supported and loved in a game like that, I think super important. Emma,
I love it.
How do
Amazing.
you feel?
I'm that excited. Pride Round's my favourite. You get to wear a rainbow. How sick. I'm really confident heading in. We're going to regroup after today and we're going to absolutely charge. So ready to redline it on Saturday.
Absolutely. All right, that is all we have time for this week on the Rollers and the Rockers. How'd you find it, Braz?
Loved it.
In the hot seat, but
First
now-
time I heard it. No.
I was going to say now you're never gonna talk again behind the
Yeah,
thing.
I'm
You've
done.
done
I've done
all
enough.
your talking. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And as always, Drisco's not ready for her quote, but just throw something out there because we don't have time.
Okay, so it's quite fitting in light of Pride Round this weekend, but also the fact that we lost on the weekend. So I'm just going to say today's teardrops are tomorrow's rainbows. See you Saturday.